Hello again. I'm back faster than anticipated. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I just give myself a little pat on the back there. Um, what I wanted to talk to you about today is sort of a follow on to the surfboard conversation that I put out over the weekend. So that's part of the reason I also wanted to follow up on it fairly quickly because it's what I want to talk about today is related. And the inspiration for today came from a lovely friend of mine, Ashley. Thank you. We were taking a walk in the park not very long ago. And as any of you that know me or follow me know, I consider myself to be on something I call the feather path. And that when I seem to need reassurance that I'm following the right path, I'm going the direction I need to go, I find feathers to reassure me. And they're sort of my rainbow from the universe, I guess, right? That all is well, I'm doing what I need to be doing. And so I'm used to finding feathers all the time. Well, not all the time, I guess when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Funny, they don't show up. But Ashley and I were walking, and I think I'd already found like 2 feathers that day. And we were having some really interesting conversation about different things. And so I'd gotten some reassurance on some stuff that I'd had some questions about that I was chatting with Ashley about. Good to have a friend you can do that with. And then as we were walking along, she looked down and said, "Oh, look, there's a feather for you." And I turned to her and I said, "Well, no, that's clearly meant for you because I didn't even see it." And she said, "But feathers aren't my thing. They're your thing. So it must be for you." And that was really interesting because then I realized that sometimes you need your friends to help you find the way, right? Sometimes you need your friends to find the feather for you and show it to you and show that, yeah, this is right. And maybe what they were saying or the thing that, because we were talking about something that I have a little bit of difficulty with. I sometimes have a little difficulty being vulnerable. And that was one of the things that we were talking about, was about me being vulnerable. And in fact, she used a lovely phrase, precious vulnerability, right? So it was during that conversation when we were talking about vulnerability that she found the feather for me, right? Basically, the way that I took that was she was giving me good advice, something that I very much needed to hear. And then she saw a feather, and that was for me to know that sometimes when I'm not looking, I need a friend to show me. I need a friend to help me. I need a friend to step in. So that's the first example of ways that sometimes, we need help. We need our friends. We need our colleagues. Other people can help show us the way, right? It's not just all in our own mind, intuition, gut, whatever it is. Sometimes we need help doing that. And that's why it's good to be able to talk to other people, whether that's a friend, a therapist, an acquaintance even sometimes, right? Sometimes you meet a stranger and you have a conversation that's really meaningful, and that might be a way. A teacher, a parent, a child, I've found my children, have been some of my greatest teachers. So sometimes we need someone else to help us see the way, to reflect back to us what it is that we really need to hear and things that we need to be aware of, that maybe maybe that's some of our shadow stuff that we are seeking to avoid. And that's an area where a really good, honest, kind, and compassionate friend can be the one, like Ashley, to show you that without shaming you or anything else, but just to say, yeah, maybe this is what you need to be working on right now. And then we found a feather, so yeah, I guess so. Oops. The other thing is sometimes we need other kinds of help. And as I was talking about in the last video, when I was talking about how I lost my surfboard for a while, and a lot of that was about my routine. I've been dealing with a lot of chaos, both within my house and within my life in the last 6 months. And I had gotten off of my routines. I had, my exercise routine was messed up. My meditation routine was messed up. My morning routines were messed up. My daily routines were messed up. And so I felt very much at sea and didn't really feel myself and didn't really feel like I was able to be the best version of me that I can be. And I was, struggling to find the joy sometimes because of that. So another part of that I didn't get into last time, and it's not terribly complicated, but I am someone who normally, if there's a way not to use a traditional pharmaceutical of any kind, I'm going to try to do that, right? I'm going to try to go the natural way. I'm going to try acupuncture. I'm going to try an herbal supplement. I'm going to try. But sometimes you need the pharmaceutical, right? Sometimes you need that extra lift, that extra push, that extra help, right? In this particular case, I have been dealing with all of my menopausal symptoms. This is something else I just want to open up in general, is this idea about menopause, because this, it happens to be very relevant to me because I've been going through it for the last 10 years, and to a lot of my friends who are also in the process or have just finished or are taking hormones or whatever. And there's a lot of confusing information out there, and I am not a doctor, so I am not suggesting that you do or don't do anything based on my recommendation. I am solely telling you from my experience, this is it, right? And so for the first 5 years, I did something else that I was starting when I was in perimenopause or premenopause. And I was having typical, I was having the hot flashes. I was having the crying jags, like out of nowhere, just burst into tears and wouldn't be able to stop. Moods really, pretty volatile mood swings that were difficult to deal with. And I'm sure other people enjoyed too. And then after that first period was over and I was no longer able to access the original crutch that I used, the original bridge or the original support that I used, then I started using supplements. I started using evening primrose oil. I started using a product called Women's Changes. I know a lot of people use black cohosh and some other things, and they can be really helpful. And for the next 4 years of my journey through menopause, they were incredibly helpful. First, it was just evening primrose oil that was taking care of me. And then the Women's Changes came in, and I added that to the routine when things started to get a little dicey. And that worked for a really while. And I gave, and also took in some Chinese herbs as well. And everything was good. Like, it helped. But it got to a point where it wasn't helping enough anymore. I've got too many people to take care of, too many things to do, to feel like I wasn't really myself, to feel like I was not able to really control my moods. And even though I'm, pretty well trained in that, I found I was emotionally labile. I was easily irritated. And so I started taking hormones. And I have to say, it hasn't been that long. It's only been about 10 days, and it's made a big difference. So for me, choosing to go for hormones, and that's a very personal decision, but that is also something that has helped me put my surfboard back together, is that realizing that, yeah, it's great to do the natural thing when you can, and I did it for a long time, and I got through most of menopause in that natural way, but now I really need the hormones for a variety of different reasons. So support can come in different forms. It can come in the form of a lovely friend or acquaintance or an enemy, a parent, a child, a therapist, a teacher. And then sometimes you need support from other things, and that could be nutritional support. It could be changing the way that you eat, can also really affect mood and moods, emotions, energy levels, all of that. So make sure that, also it's eating right. And that was another thing that really had sort of fallen off for me. I wasn't eating as well as I normally do. So I'm back to doing that, and I'm doing the other things, and I've added hormones into my support constellation, if you will, along with all the other stuff. So that's what I have for you today. Just putting it out there. Sometimes we need some support. It can take a variety of different forms. So good luck. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. And I'll be thinking of you all, and I'll see you soon. Ciao. Love you.